Hello guys, and welcome back to the final jaunt in the second session. Here till midnight. I am fueled with pizza, Starbar, and cold coffee. Once more. Let me just add the second camera. Probably really nice if StreamYard just saved all this stuff, where you continue a new stream from the same thing or something, but of course you can't do that. Never mind. Right, so it was a vegetable deluxe. So Maria made the choice. So, but it was good. It was good. Good Domino's pizza as always. I would have probably, if I was ordering it, gone for the tuna supreme with a few adjustments made. But supreme was pretty good. We always change the tomatoes for olives. But it's not bad. Not bad. The Starbar and cold coffee, just polish up those last bits. But anyway, enough of food talk. Oh, vegan beef. You see, so I'm a vegetarian, kind of almost like a reluctant vegetarian in one. I would love for farmers to get the proper recognition they do. Anybody who's watched Clarkson's Farm knows how ridiculous regulations are in the UK on farming. The US, it's much worse, right? Food standards in the US are atrocious. I'm sorry, any US viewers there, but the FDA is not designed and does not look at safety or health in terms of what it does. It's a pretty corrupt organization. Let's just leave it at that. But not in a way that, like, European health standards agencies actually just look at, what's good for people, what should they be doing, right? That might be annoying, but it is what it is. We try to actually get food that doesn't kill people. No brominated vegetable oil and shit like that. But yeah, so hence the reluctant vegetarian piece. I would love to, have a food production chain that I could trust, that would actually give decent food without sacrificing standards anywhere along the line. I just don't think that happens anywhere, really. And be affordable as well, because the other thing is, of course, it's possible to do that. Many people do, but it's just very expensive. Not, I would say, for the general populace. So it's a bit of a conundrum, that. But having said all that, being a reluctant vegetarian, I do kind of object to terms. Object is kind of like too strong a word, but it's like, if it's beef, it comes from a cow. Right? Vegan beef does not come from a cow. Beef substitute, or like pretend beef, artificial beef, whatever you want to call it, it's fine. But vegan beef, it doesn't exist to me. It's just like, just putting vegan in front of something isn't an acceptable term for me. Call it something, reasonable. Again, that's just me, but. So when I went to Sicily, which I absolutely love, I love Sicily. It's a fantastic place. I had a horse burger, because to me, it would kind of be hypocritical if I didn't. I was, full-fledged meat eater at the time, but I think the horse that I ate probably had a better life than most, you know, cattle that are produced for food um, in this country, or indeed in a lot of countries. So, yeah, it's a horse. It's like, and horses have a level of intelligence, as do cows. It's like, so to me, there's not a lot of difference. I think a horse actually tastes pretty good. It was a fantastic burger. So that is, uh, yeah, it's, yeah. Tesco, I think, were kind of one of the main progenitors of this problem, I think, with forcing down prices, which seems great for the consumer, right? But you've got to think somebody has to bear the brunt of that cost reduction somewhere, and it sure as hell isn't Tesco, right? Um, so in which case it's the food producers. So if you squeeze the food producers, what do you think is going to suffer? It's like at the end of the day, it's going to be quality. You know, with the best will in the world, they might want to produce the best quality things they can. There comes a point where it becomes commercially unviable. So yeah, and ultimately, we are responsible because we sponsor that, right? With our wallets. It's the same as the discussion we had on Ethics and Chill a few months ago now, I think, on model shops. Right, a lot of people will say, "Oh, it's great to see a model shop when they come in the model shop," and I agree, it absolutely is. But if you're buying kits on the internet and you don't have a local model shop, it's like, guess why you don't have a local model shop? Guess why one of the reasons is if it's not a viable business for people to just try and start up because everybody just buys on the internet, you're part of the problem. If you're happy with just always buying on the internet, and get your cheap prices and no advice, nothing like that, that's absolutely fine, right? But don't complain that there's no model shops. You are the progenitor, or at least the substantiator of the problem in that case. You don't get to moan about it if you're part of what has forced that situation. If I buy milk at a pound for 4 litres, I can't complain when dairy farmers go out of business, or that it happens to have, 6 pentachlorobenzene in it because that's what the farmers use to make their cows produce loads of milk. I just made that chemical up, by the way. So, people need to realize that the world isn't just there to provide things for them with no accountability. Somebody has to pay the piper. And it's kind of just where the buck stops at. And unfortunately, politicians, and this got very heavy very quick, by the way. But politicians, stores, retail stores, and stuff have lied to us for a long time, saying, "Oh, you can have it all. You can have it all. Boom and bust is gone. All this kind of stuff." It's just pure bullshit. look at the current crisis in finance across the world. That isn't because boom and bust is gone. Politicians like to claim responsibility for things that have absolutely nothing to do with them. They just happen to be there at the right time, or it comes from a policy 10 years ago. So, and please don't think Yeah, you see, this is, I would absolutely do this tag as if I was in that position. I would do exactly the same thing. And actually, I used to have a friend, and it was actually a friend. I became friends through my neighbour when I moved. Well, me and my ex moved into the village I used to live in, who kept his own sheep. And guess what? The first people he offered those to after they went for slaughter was his friends. And we knew exactly where those sheep had been, what their provenance was, what they'd eaten all their lives. We knew that Simon cared for them, looked after them, kept them disease free and everything. So of course we wanted to support him, and gave him fair prices for the food. So we got excellent quality food at a decent price because we cut out all the middlemen. Nobody making 10% each time it goes through somebody's hands. And if you're able to do that, it's fantastic, right? It's shortening the chain. It's doing exactly the opposite of what we've been doing since the 80s of, getting avocados in from Peru or wherever, which, is how that is ever going to be sustainable. It's great that we can have a global economy, but you have to think of the local ramifications of some of that, and balance it. It just has to be balanced, which I think a lot of people have forgotten the meaning of balance. But please do not think I am having to go at people here. Absolutely not. It is a kind of general point rather than saying, "Oh, you guys don't buy from my shop." That's not the point I'm making. It is that in general, if you are one of those people that complain all the time about there are no local model shops, and yet you are buying 100% from the internet and never making any effort to see if there is somebody local or buy local when you go away and find a model shop or whatever, then guess what? You don't really get, you've kind of obviated your right to be able to comment. Yeah, you see farmers markets where you can buy direct from the farmer. And again, you might think, well, farmers markets are expensive, or it's the same as, I can get the same thing in Tesco's for like half the price. It's like, no, you can't. You can get something called the same thing. It won't be the same thing, because guess what? If it's the same farmer, he's not just selling it to you for, the price he can sell it to Tesco for. Because otherwise, what would be the point? Yeah. Tesco aren't buying from the same price that you can buy it locally, because where's the margin for them? So you're always going to get better if you can go direct, because actually the farmers will take a higher margin and they will pass that saving onto you. So you'll pay a fair price rather than an unfair to the farmer price. Yeah, and Julian, if you have a local model shop and they've got a website and you're buying from them, through the website, that's again obviously not what I mean. I am meaning those people who just want to do something and they go and they will search for whatever the cheapest kit, regardless of where it comes from. Which I get. We've all done it. But if that is your mantra, that's fine. You believe in getting kits for as cheap as possible. But if any of those internet shops even go out of business, again, you can't really say, well, I was loyal to them. I don't understand why they went out of business, because you had no loyalty. So you have Wonderland models. You always buy from Wonderland because you've had good experiences and stuff. That's a valid, absolutely valid reason for doing that. Rather than if you buy from one manufacturer one day, one another, or one retailer, I should say. Yes, that's market forces, but then if those market forces cause one or more of those retailers to go out of business because they haven't got a stable clientele, because somebody else has sold something 50% cheaper for them a couple of times, so people shop around and don't always go to them, don't show brand loyalty, if you like. That's just a product of the economy as well, right? Neither is particularly right or wrong. It's just you can't complain about it if you're part of that, right? If you have always supported your local model shop and goes out of business, you absolutely have the right to be able to say, what is going on. I mean, everybody has the right to complain about whatever they like, but I'm just saying, from a moral high ground sort of stance. So I also, in that same caveat, think that local model shops, myself included, if we didn't give prices very similar at least, or as good as the internet, you also have no complaint when you go out of business, right? Because if you've priced yourself out of the market, just citing, well, I'm local as your reason, there has to be more reason than that, right? And why would somebody buy from you online if you are more expensive? It's just common sense to be applied in each case, right? That is true. Chickens will eat almost anything. I really dislike chickens, though. Annoying creatures. I mean, there are good reasons, right, to buy online. I mean, for myself, I used to buy kits online because I didn't have any local modern shops. There was nothing. I'd have to drive from where I used to live. I'd have to drive for an hour to go to a model shop, with no guarantee that if I got there would be anything. Also, in terrible places, or rather very nice places that are terrible to actually try to visit for shopping, like Salisbury. Salisbury is a beautiful city. It's a lovely tourist spot. It's a nightmare if you actually want to drive and go in shopping. It has a park and ride system because it's just so woefully inadequately supported. Internally, because it's an ancient city, So some people do not have a choice, which is also a crying shame, And a lot of this is societal rather than, specific to our particular niche hobby. We just have gone along with the rest of it. Amazon is a big thing, a big problem, I think, in the way it operates. And yet I've been an Amazon Prime customer for years. That will end next year because part of the benefits I got from Prime was Prime Video, and they are now using adverts on that. And I can pay extra if I want to get rid of the adverts. It's like, I'm sorry, you used to give this to me for free. You are a multi-billion-dollar corporation, and what are you doing? Like claiming that you're hard up? It's like, come on. It's like, pull the other one. Cockerels are noisy bastards. They really are. Okay, so I think most of that. Okay, so this I would do more on this normally, but I just simply we don't have the time. It's good enough for rock and roll, as they would say. Somebody would say, I don't know where the phrase came from. Probably Spinal Tap. You know, from what you're going to see in here with the cockpit and everything, I think it's good enough. We're good to go. Okay. I've got to get more of these. That's fine. Okay, that's good enough. This is very, very yellow. I'll pull that down with a bit of brown wash, so it's exactly the same, but a brown oil wash. Look at all the bits of fluff there. So obviously a black wash would be too harsh for the yellow. There we go. It's funny how it looks quite a different shade in reality to on camera. Not massively different, just it's picking up slightly different. Again, quality of sensor. Okay. Little piece of brown, something with there. Don't want that. Okay. I think we're going to have to start bringing some of this together, otherwise we are going to run out of time. Let's get some of these pieces out of the way. So we do need to spray that. These pieces out of the way a second. Spray those two pieces there. Oh, it's very dry and very finished. Yeah, it's fine. So we'll do those. Down across. I'll need some water to do those decals. Okay. Actually, I have another bottle of this. I didn't realise. Oh, good night, Mario. Sorry, I'm focused. Yeah, I would agree about that point about parking, Julian. So one of the great things, one of the reasons that I got the place I got. So that's one of the things you have to consider, right? As a retailer, you have to consider how easy is it for people to actually use this. If you don't, then you're, again, kind of asking to fail. A note here, I'm just going to do this green. I'm not going to bother with anything else because I want it to be dark compared to the other stuff, because it might be comparatively in shadow. Yeah, so where I have the shop at the moment was my second choice, principally because the first choice, the estate agents just never got back to me. You know, estate agents to me, and I apologise if anybody's an estate agent, the most useless people on earth. Never get back to you when you need them. And I'm again talking about the majority rather than the minority. I know there are good estate agents out there. We had a great estate agent who, when we bought this house, but in general, good God. And this was one of those occasions. They never got back to me. When I pushed them, it's like, oh no, sorry, that property is not available anymore. And the reason I was looking at that one is because it was directly opposite Lidl in Gillingham, one of the villages nearby. So it would mean, you know, free parking. Somebody could park at Lidl, do their shopping there, or their partner could do their shopping there while they looked at the model shop kind of thing. So it'd be very, very easy. And when that fell through, well, they just never got back to me. You know, I cast my net out again and looked, found this place in Wincanton, which has free parking for an hour directly opposite the shop. And it all has free unlimited parking at the rear of the shop. There's an overflow car park, which is exactly the same. And then there's a car park just down the road behind the co-op. Again, all unlimited, all day parking, all free. So there's no paid for parking at all. It's just free parking. And I think that is crucial. And there are still high street shops closing, but you have to consider, you've got to make it easy for people, because the majority of people won't go out of their way. They'll do things which are easy. If it costs, 50 pence an hour or £1 an hour to park outside my shop, would people use that? Probably not. If there wasn't the unlimited parking all day at the back, would I have got the shop? Well, no, because where am I going to park? I can't pay more costs to run the shop. It breaks even as it is. I can't take any more costs. Is there any significant differences in shop sales versus online sales for your shop? Only that online sales make up about a third of my sales. So the majority of my sales are actually in person, face to face at the shop. If the shop is to actually turn a profit, I need to get more web sales. I just haven't been able to devote the time I need to at the moment to do that. So, it's something for the future, to get more stuff on the website, to get, again, the shopping experience easier, to get that sort of side of things, do marketing, all that. I don't have money to do any of that at the moment, unfortunately. Okay, I think these are the cells. Now I've done those pieces, I don't think there's anything I need to do else. I don't want to do anything until I've checked. I don't think there's anything stopping me. Oh, there is, these little pieces. Oh, shit. There we go, there's a profanity. G4, D50. I mean, if I could turn that around, so if I could quadruple my online sales, that's fair enough. But if I could quadruple my online sales, then it would be a viable business to actually make money. But that is not a small undertaking, obviously, by any stretch of the imagination. So at the moment, YouTube is profitable for me, right? In that the outlay that I have for YouTube versus the ad revenue that comes in, and my very generous channel members, is a positive integer, whereas the shop, if you think I have to sell, so I don't think it's much of a surprise that there's about a 25% margin on average in most retail businesses. So you have to sell 4 times your costs to break even. The shop does that just almost exactly. So, which is great. It's not costing me money, but it's not making any money. So if I have a good day at the shop, it just means I've had a good day. That means it's not costing me money. So, and then I have to rely on YouTube to actually pay my bills, which is not a great way to live, I must say, because YouTube revenue is highly variable. So this month I'm looking at making about a quarter of what I made 2 months ago. 2 months ago was like the barest minimum I need to survive. So basically I am at a loss by a considerable amount for this month so far. And it's always like the last 28 days that YouTube counts. It doesn't count fiscal months. No, I appreciate that. Do I sell anything abroad? See, this is one of the main issues, right? Is that I have about 40% of my audience is based in the US. Many of them can't get kits easily, like, Airfix kits and stuff. I would love to be able to sell them those kits, give them that service. And the thing that kills it is postage. The cost of shipping is so ridiculously high right now. Brexit has introduced all kinds of complications in selling anything abroad. That at the moment, I will sell to friends, channel members and whatever through, but on a case-by-case basis, because of course, I have to say, well, tell me what you want. I'll give you an estimate of, well, not an estimate. I'll tell you how much it will cost in terms of shipping. Then you can make a decision on whether you want to buy it or not. So yeah, international shipping is a killer, ridiculously so. Sadly. Because, there's a couple of things, right? Shipping generally, I would love to offer free shipping in the UK for all orders. Realistically, if it did that, I'd be out of business in a month. Because again, the actual shipping costs. So if I'm going to sell this bottle for £1.50 to you, it costs me £5 to ship it. Right? I always use track services because you'll get stung if you don't, and I have to bear the brunt of that without any proof. So tracked is just worth its weight. Track service is actually only like a fraction more expensive than normal services anyway. But to send this first class tracked small parcel, because this doesn't qualify for a large letter. Large letter is 1 inch, and this is over 1 inch in diameter. Plus, of course, you've got a box, which people always forget. The box. So I have standard shipping size boxes for large letter, for small parcel, which is, if you order from me, sometimes you'll get a quite large box with, smaller things inside it rather than a smaller box. It's because I have one size of box because it minimizes costs, because I have to buy the boxes. Generally, I can't reuse a lot of boxes that are sent to me, which is, like the ones from Hornby and stuff, Creative, because they ship in bulk. They ship in big boxes. And if I start shipping kits like that, then everything would be medium parcel, which is super expensive. So, that's ridiculous, right? The shipping cost of that being so high. And that's where companies like Amazon, who pay their delivery people peanuts, and and get them to do horrific hours and deliver thousands of parcels and have quotas and all the rest of it, which is why they just chuck parcels where they shouldn't do and don't, get. Our Amazon person doesn't even ring the doorbell. They just open the porch and leave the parcel there. Regardless of whether we're in or not, we can always tell because we've got a ring doorbell. So yeah, it's just, and I use Royal Mail, and that is actually the cheapest for me as a small retailer. If you start doing very large things, then it becomes, worthwhile shipping around. But there's no point using something like DPD if you're small, because they do not give a damn about you as a customer. And if they don't give a damn about you as a customer, they're going to give you crap service. I have problems with Airfix deliveries as a customer, not a retailer. Trying to get my house. I've had parcels left in the wrong place 3 times. Fortunately, now I've got a shop, so they don't get it wrong. But yeah, it's again, what do you pay for? Do you pay for, I want my customers. So if you order something from the shop, I want you to get that. I want to ensure that you receive it. I would rather it arrive 2 days later and arrive than not arrive at all. Yeah, I mean, I would send via another courier than Royal Mail if they could guarantee that something gets to the person in a cost-effective way. But to be honest, when I've looked, there's no real cost saving. From what I've seen, again, my own personal experiences of DPD and the like have not been good. So, yeah, I mean, so I offered the Terry Thacker decals, right, to people. I wasn't interested in making like a ton of money out of those. I just thought they should be available to people in the UK. John Alec from John Alec Scale Modeling very kindly paid the postage to ship, because he also got the tribute kit that I wanted was only available in the US. So he posted the decals in with that. So I paid for the shipping to him. He put it in with a parcel that he was sending to me. So it didn't cost me anything extra in shipping. And then UK Customs and Excise decided to charge me almost £20 for import tax. It's just like, well, thanks, guys. That's what you get for trying to do the right thing for a community. That's the way they just treat everything, right? It's to them. Well, actually, no, they only charged me £12. Royal Mail charged me, I think it was £8 for filling in a generic postcard with 3 lines telling me that there was a charge to pay. That was their admin charge, which is absolute BS. So, if we can get back to a society based on providing value rather than just the cheapest possible price, I think we would be onto a good thing, but I just don't see that happening. Unfortunately, I mean, basically, the way I look at it at the moment is the shop has a year, right? If it doesn't actually become profitable in a year, then I can't continue with it. It just won't be viable. And unfortunately, that's the way a lot of businesses go, because, look at Clarkson's farm. The only reason Clarkson's made any money out of that is because of all of the Amazon series rights to it. It's nothing to do with the farm. If he was a farmer, he'd be bankrupt. He's done a lot of good in highlighting and showcasing the problems with government policy and everything else in farming. And the problem with the councils just constantly blocking stuff that the government tells farmers that they should be doing. But none of it is a sustainable business model, other than the fact that he's a celebrity. And I think that's something he's said many times himself on that, Yeah, I mean, every is a joke. I don't think I'd look at every as a service. Well, it's not a service, is it? Let's face it, it is not a service. So yeah, that took a bit of a depressing turn. Sorry about that, guys. Let's go back to this and see which piece I need. It was G4. Is it also G4 on the other side? No, it's G5. Typical for different handed. Okay, G4 should be nice and easy to find. It is. That was actually kind of a mistake. I shouldn't have taken it off there. So it looks like it's the same color. So I got my little crocodile clip thing. That's my number 5 on the screw. I mean, it kind of is and it isn't. I will have tried. If I can't make a decent go of it with another year, the way I look at it is it's not meant to be. I'll go and work at Tesco's or something. Sorry, clunking around trying to use my microphone as an airbrush stand then. So the other things I've considered are doing more YouTube stuff. So I may do another channel. Just on more like non-model related stuff, like more of the sorry, just really don't want to cut that piece. So more on film and that kind of stuff, commentary kind of thing. The problem with that is it takes time. Everything takes time. And whilst you're doing that, you're not doing other things. Whether that's listing stuff on your website or making content for your other channel, because it depends what type of content it is. If it doesn't require it to be done during the daytime, for instance. So one of the things with making YouTube videos on modeling is there's a lot of daytime stuff that he's doing. Put it like that. Which is all sort of like, shop prime time. That's when I'm doing the shop stuff. I can do some stuff at the shop, but it is somewhat restrictive. Okay. All of these pieces, I think, go in there as well, don't they? I think these will go in themselves. I can't remember what we said in terms of color. N or F? I think N is our default, olive green. So all of those struts are also olive green, so can also be sprayed at the same time. I think Moss has the same issue, right, with Outlaw. Right, Moss has a, his normal job. He has his gigging at weekends. He's got a YouTube channel. Now he also has to do Outlaw stuff. So, it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff to keep track of. It's not that easy. Right. So at the moment, the best things people can do to support me are, well, obviously, if you can become a channel member, that is absolutely superb, because that is, just money directly, which is fantastic. But spreading word of the channel and the shop, through whatever social media, Reddit, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, widening my audience, getting more subscribers, feeding the algorithm. There's all those tired old things that we hear from YouTubers all the time, but that's why you hear them, because they are incredibly important. Because at the end of the day, those are the things that end up, paying ad revenue. Feeding the algorithm, getting more people watching, more people that watch, the more likely it is you're suggested, and the more suggestions and more you're seen, the more likely you are to be seen. It's a positive feedback loop, but it also is very fickle. It can change really quickly. So, engagement with the channel, comments, likes, shares. The reason creators talk about them all the time is because that's the only thing we have in order to be able to influence the algorithm at all. Otherwise, we're all in the dark. YouTube doesn't tell us any of its secrets. We're playing a game that we don't really know the rules to, which is a bizarre thing. It's a bizarre way to try and earn your living. Oh, well, that is very kind, Steve. Thank you. And much appreciated. The streams weren't intended to be a kind of begging session. I'll get my ukulele, mouth harp, little Annie going on the heartstrings. Show my children, poor destitute children. They're not, obviously. They'll have their own lives. I mean, Oscar has a proper job, so he's earning actual money. Okay. The other piece that was meant to go there, other than whatever it was, G4 is D50 on the other side, also D50, so both D50. And of course they will be because the Ds are identical sprues. D50. 650. This tiny little thing here. Tiny thing. One tiny thing. And two tiny things. Need to get rocking with those engines as well, don't I? It absolutely does, Steve. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, one of the things is, it's one of the very humbling and most rewarding parts of having both the shop and the channel is the interaction with people, with other modelers, people that come into the shop. I mean, people that come into the shop aren't just modelers. The interaction with them is really good. People are just interested or thinking of getting back into the hobby. I think that is one of the things that is kind of most important about a shop, is that it, welcomes people in it. Kind of what the IPMS should be doing, from my prior video. But I think of that as, I feel like I'm an ambassador for modeling, right? I think that's what any modeler kind of should feel, that they are promoting the hobby, the love of the hobby, showcasing that, showing what a good hobby it is. It's a fantastic hobby. So I'm just trying to get rid of all these bloody bobbly bits. There are thousands of them. There. I think I'm done with that through. Nope. Nope. Two more here. You have to be careful though, because there are some pieces like this that look like they have a bobbly bit, but that is part of the piece. Which is why it takes a long time, right? Because you've got to check rather than just hacking everything off that looks remotely like it's sticking out. I actually did that with the Airfix Gannet, is cut off a couple of the located tabs, locating pieces, pins, whatever, these pieces. That's what they look like, but they were actually the pieces that lock into the fuselage to hold the undercarriage bay doors on. And it's like, oh, I shouldn't have cut those off. So that was Airfix problems of my making rather than Airfix's. But yeah, the interactions with people like you guys, like streams like this, I never thought that I would be able to do any sort of stream and have people actually watch me or come and talk or whatever. You know, it just was not something I ever even really thought of before. You know, it certainly didn't have in my mind when starting the channel. And you know, I appreciate what we have 20 people. Well, at the moment, it's hardly, you know, like Mr. Beast. But this is, what are we on now? Our, I don't even know what it is. So I did, what was it yesterday? 6 hours yesterday, doing 10 hours in total today. So 16 hours, we're 2 hours away. So 14 hours. Yeah, so we're more than halfway through. You know, a full day of streaming, I think, to have anybody on at this point is a win, right? You know, of course, I would always like more people to be on the streams, but I'm, you know, always amazed at getting people in, regardless of numbers, and you know, having 20 people this time. What is it? 10 o'clock on a Sunday night, prepared to share the evening with me is phenomenal. So thank you guys. You know, especially when I've been doing this for 14 hours before. I mean, that is beyond duty. Right? And it'd be different if this was a once in a month thing. You know, it's just like, yeah, that's the way to boost the number of people per stream, is to reduce the incidents, I suppose you could say. So you're artificially kind of inflating it. Right, so that is the piece, whatever it was, G4. It was G4, the first one, yes, G4. So G4 actually goes on the other one, the port wing. Where does it go? It goes there. This is when I need the tweezers that I do not know where they are. Oh, God. It's just become... Ah, there we go. Right in front of me. Why didn't you guys tell me? I actually find these tweezers are quite good for just scraping bits like that, because you can't really get your scalpel or craft knife into something that size. Does it face backwards? Yes, it does. There we go. Whatever that piece is. And then D50 goes in this tiny little slot there. Which I seem to have singularly failed to take and paint. If you're fussy about mystery boxes, Steve, the way I approach mystery boxes is you tell me what you like, right? And what you have, like what you don't want more of. So you can be as prescriptive as you like. So you can get it down to basically, you know, choose 3 of these 5 kits. You know, it's a mystery in that you don't know exactly what you're getting, but you know what you're getting will be one of the ones that you want. I mean, to me, that is the best of both worlds. Right, it's how I would want a mystery box. Yeah. So for me, I'm less fussy because I like doing a lot of different stuff. But I would be like, yeah, I'd like, you know, say a Luftwaffe 46. Not even Luftwaffe, just German sort of like 1946 type stuff. You know, I'd like a mystery box on that. And then you tell me the value that you'd like to spend. You know, I want to spend £20 on that. And then I get £20 of stuff that fits that criteria. And send that, because what I want from your mystery box is for you to be happy with it. Because I had that disappointing experience with the Airfix mystery box, which is only mystery the first time somebody orders it, because they're always the same after that. I didn't want anybody else to experience that, so hence that's where it came from. And some people are very prescriptive, and some people are very open. And guess what? Either way is perfectly valid. As you might expect, I would say, given my views on modelling generally and other things like that, you know. Customer is always right in questions in matters of taste. I will take your captive audience membership, Howard. The way I've also done the mystery boxes is they are available in essentially like £5 slots. So you just add as many as you want up to the value you want to spend. So the value is whatever you want it to be, you know, rather than it just being a set, you know, has to be £40 or whatever. Right. I need those other 2 tiny pieces, don't I? I think I've just cut the one off there. Yes, I have. Though while I am here, let's also cut these bad boys off, because we need those This one, and then we need our G frame again. There we go. That was relatively painless. Oh, thank you, Steve. So instructions that should be on the website with it is send me an email, tell me exactly, the scale, the period, the kind of things and examples, and I aim to fulfill that as accurately as possible. And of course, if I don't have anything that's suitable in the shop, I'll let you know. Or if there will be a delay, for example. So, because I think I've got, what I need for you, but it's coming in the next Hornby shipment or whatever. Generally, people who order mystery boxes aren't looking at, immediate, kind of like, got to have this thing, because they don't know what that thing is, right? I say in general, not always, but okay, that's all of those pieces. I think we're getting to the point where we can put the cells on without screwing up everything else. I think, yes, the cells go on before undercarriage comes in. Yeah. There's pointy bits too. Yep, they all come in afterwards. So let's go ahead and get some of the cells on. Nope, wrong one. I think this will actually help quite a lot with my feel about how the build is going. A little too much on the brush there. These nacelles actually fit very well. I mean, I mentioned that before, but sometimes they can dry fit well. When you actually come to glue them, they don't, but that is actually really good. Obviously, I still need to put these external pieces on, but that is a much easier thing to do now. All of that interior is painted and done. So just to give you some impressions of this kit, I mean, obviously you've seen me build it up to this point, but some of ICM's logic, this doesn't go just for this kit, it goes for some of the other kits, is a bit like, I wonder why they did it that way, right? Like they order, they put some of the things in. But having said that, it always works out, and I usually build them in a slightly different order than ICM have, given in their instructions, and it still works out, which I think is always a good measure of a kit. And you can depart from the instructions, and there aren't too many gotchas, provided you're looking ahead and being sensible. I mean, the finesse molding detail here is fantastic. It is equal to any other manufacturer out there, really. Fit, there are some tiny fit issues that I have created around these seams here, but they're small. They're very small, and I don't think that is the kit. I think that is me, and probably comes from the fact that I build and paint the entire thing in 24 hours. So the model time, that is. So I'm not going to slate the kit for that. Good God, it shows. Look how big and chunky those cells are on a wing, which is really not that much. So yeah, I think overall the impression of the kit is really good. I think if you are any sort of fan of American aircraft, medium bombers, don't think you would be unhappy in any way with this kit. I mean, just looking at the look of that nacelle, now it's built up, it looks absolutely phenomenal. With, basic 3-shade bit of spraying and a wash. That's all it's had. I haven't done any dry brushing, I haven't done any chipping, I haven't done any marks or anything, and it still looks really good. I think that is a really good sign of a kit, because you can make any kit look good. It's the amount of work that you have to put in. And I haven't put a lot of work into this, despite what it might have looked like. I'm talking really hard modeling work, if you like. It has been basic stuff. Anybody could have done, this build. Yeah, okay, you need an airbrush, you need some airbrush to have done some of the bits. but not huge. Not a huge thing. Just putting just a little bit where the this is OCD now, right? This is where the Tamiya has affected the paint a little bit. Nobody's going to see it. Nobody's ever going to see that, but I don't know why I did that. Right, we also have all of these pieces for the wing. That's the wrong one. That is also the wrong one. Not doing very well here. That is an aileron. There. I don't think they had dropped flaps as a rule. Okay. Parts of my browser have stopped working. I don't know why that is. Let's see, B-26. That is interesting. My Chrome seems to have stopped working. I don't know if you guys can still hear me and see me. Okay. That's better. Not sure what happened there. My Chrome just stopped working. Let me just get this set up properly. There we go. Okay. Yeah, not sure what happened there. StreamYard, doing StreamYard things. Let me present this and let's have a look, see what we can see. Looks like an A26 on the B26. I'm not seeing flaps deployed on any of these. The same one. So I'm guessing, yeah, I mean, nothing. So I think we are safe to assume there's no kind of hydraulic droop or anything. So ICM's representation here of these is accurate, which is good because that makes it very, very easy. I like though that they give you the provision to be able to change it if you want. You know, if you want to put the work in, drop them, and you know, depict it in that way for whatever reason. You know, they give you the like the bare bones to do that, the separate pieces. Yep. Fit though, all very good. Where's the other aileron? There. Now, if you did want to change the angle of these, again, not particularly difficult to do that. At least the drop on the side, a bit more difficult. Raise them, I don't really want to do any of that anyway. There we go. Yeah, how I've done that, that is me, 100%. Rather than it being a a hit fitment issue, it's an axe fitment issue. The challenge for Tuesday, I feel, is going to be getting this. I'm not going to. I don't think. Well, no, I'm not going to be able to get this together. I think tonight, because there are a couple of big outstanding things. One of which is weight. So I need to get 50 grams of weight into this thing, and to stop it being a tail sitter. That I think is quite challenging. The fit on these, on the ailerons, I mean there's friction fit. There is that's not going anywhere. You can pull it out. It just slots back in. That is not going to fall out. That is a really, really good fit. Pretty much perfect. I am quite liberal with my tummy thin. It's never been a problem. You know, in terms of like being able to see blemishes or something on the surface afterwards, I've never had that issue. Ah, good, good, good. We have wings, like Red Bull. Okay, I thought you would have that done by now. No, no. All of the fiddly mucking about bits are where the time goes. At least that's what I'm saying and sticking to it. So actually, one of the next things I need to do is bring in all the transparencies. So let's go ahead and prep for that. Where are my little diddly things? Where have they gone? Yeah. These are good for many things, including getting little bits of plastic out. So I should really be using a fresh one, not one with a ton of grot on it. Right. So those, we also have the tail piece. Wow, some acute pieces there. And of course, we also have the two big rear ones. Good evening, Craig. You can hear the sound of concentration. Transparencies. Very transparent transparencies. More little bobbly bits. Let's get those off to start. All right. So, I've got an idea of most of where these go, but I want to make sure, obviously. So, put that one to one side a second. Bring this one in. That's at H1. H1. Is our rear one. And H5. Front one. H2 is the rear side. Okay, let me start off with talking about what I didn't like about that. this will focus. Okay. This tab, where it connected onto the sprue, goes the entire length, not just on this edge, it goes up to this, but so you've got to trim that, because otherwise that will prevent it seating. Right, because that is the lowered piece. Where it sits in. To the actual fuselage. Get into this piece here. So if we didn't trim it, it wouldn't sit properly. What I do like is that the framing actually extends like inside, around the edge of the piece, so that if you get a little bit of, so I'm going to do this with Tamiya extra thin, if you get a little bit on the edge, frost that tiny edge bit, you won't see that because that's part of the frame. So let's put Tamiya extra thin on, trying not to get it all over there, Alex, you idiot. Okay, just give that a second. I'm just going to drop this in. Not quite first time, but then just there we go. Still nice and clear. Let that sit over there. Yeah, and actually the same is true here. Like the, we won't be able to see this because I can barely see it. Is the insert isn't cut out. The sprue gate actually is proud of that insert. It is slightly annoying, actually. Wasn't ideal. Get a little bit of creepage there. Well, here's what it is. The other one. Now, of course, I could use PVA on these and not have any like problem of bogging or anything, but at this stage in the build, especially doing internal windows, the risk is that at some point during the build, especially when I'm, perhaps not being as careful as I could be, because this is not a normal build, I accidentally pushed them in. They're knackered, right? Proper knackered. There, that went in much better. That's what I should have done with that one. It's just given it a little wipe just before pushing it home. Fit as that. Oh, sorry. That. So that's just popped in. No glue or anything. That is just literally friction fit. Just popped in place. Let's glue that in. A very impressive fit of that door, gunnery door, whatever you want to call it. And H18. It's quite well. Okay, just 1 hour left for this second leg. Right, these pieces I'm slightly concerned about because these do not look like they're going to be that easy. now. So from this side, H22 goes on that side, H4 on the other. So if you wonder why I'm doing this like this, I kind of want to both remove like any errant sort of paint and glue from around the actual window piece and get that plastic tacky so that there isn't any liquid Tamiya extra thin, so there's no fumes. So it will hold it without bogging it. Miss this is it. No. It's a complex shape. And that's the wrong way around. Blip. Blip, flippity bloodar. It is completely counterintuitive. It actually curves the other way. Now, if there'd been liquid Tamiya cement there, that would have been an absolute disaster. There's a weird shape. You know, the fact that it flutes like that. You can kind of see it more from this angle. You know, there's a concave piece here rather than being convex. Can't talk too much because the working time there for the Tamiya to be anything like effective is very short. Good evening, Dave. You joined on an awkward point. That is interesting. So just the tiniest little bit, just to bind that in. Masking this is going to be fun. Hoo boy. Okay. Okie dokie dokie. That's all that done. We have transparency to go in here. because of course we do. So a piece of armoured glass back here, piece H17. No. You don't want to do that. Come on, in you go. There we go. That's what you want to do. Again, just the barest touch of. Yep. No, this is not the escape hatch. This is the rear gunner station. So this goes back here. So that's how the rear gunner operates the twin turrets there, or twin Brownings. And attempts to remain alive. He's got this armoured glass and this armoured shield, and then there's a plexiglass bubble with the actual twin Stinger, as it was known. Now the escape hatch is in the rear of the cockpit floor. It comes out in the forward bay. The guys in the back wanted to get out. I think their egress was basically through these gunnery doors. I don't think I would have enjoyed either of those options. Yeah, there's a big plexiglass bubble for the back. It's like a Naboo fighter windscreen. Alrighty. D43. The two D43 pieces are the little swivels. Where are they? 43. These swivels for the roundings at the back. Quickly spray those. There you go. Yeah, then this is the big plexiglass sort of end stinger piece where the 50 cals go through. Okay, so this side of the fuselage, H3. H4 is the piece for the rear door here. G32. Oh, that's the H23. Rear circular door. And H19. This piece at the back. I think that is all our transparencies for the time being. Okay. Blown glass bubble, plexiglass bubble. Hey. This is the one that I messed up on the other side. Principally because of the amount of paint that had scraped. Kind of bulged out a little bit and ended up marring it a little bit.
Doesn't feel like it's sitting quite right there. A bit better.
Well, here's what it is.
Still at it indeed. Okay. I only wish that the browsing problems were indeed the geomagnetic storm. Unfortunately, we have not really seen it here in the southwest of the UK, which is a shame because I'd really love to. Unless, of course, it's suddenly parked up again. I have not yet fed the carpet monster either, which is I've thrown a couple of pieces on the floor, but they've both been big, and I don't have a carpet in this room, so it makes it slightly easier. Well, thank you, Dave. It doesn't feel like it in many regards. Some ways it does, in other ways it doesn't. But I mean, there's some really fantastic pieces of this build. I mean, just to give you an idea, this I don't know what hatch you call it, but the one that you push up to fire the Brownings out. I mean, for one, you can actually just, pose it semi-open if you wanted to. It has that capability. You can even slide it up. Up out of the way as it would be. Which I think I would like to do flak bait when they bring out the flak bait version of this kit, which they ICM are going to be doing. See the fit here? That is just push fit, no glue. It's a really, really nice, snug fit. Just sitting like that. I think it would be nice to, spend a bit more time than I have, do the detail on this properly. Extend these magazine racks round like on the real things. Maybe do it being reloaded or something. I think that would look quite cool. Have one of these partially up. I think all of that would be very doable with this kit. As it is, I'm just going to cement these closed, which seems like a bit of a crime, actually. But that's the way it is, right? That's just the way it is. So all that detail we've just done is now visible only through those two little bits. That is to say, you cannot see it at all. But we know it's there. We have video evidence it's there. So again, as with a lot of ICM kits, there's a lot of detail here as a base that you could easily super detail and easily go to town with, you know, if you felt that pull. As it is, I've probably spent a load of time on this that I could just left out. Okay. I'm wondering whether to actually put bombs in this at all. I might just have it as waiting to be bombed up. So that means I can have bomb bays open without having to worry about anything else. Basically, that takes this one. And this one. And then that bottom piece. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Not put the bombs in. Alrighty. This end's already clean. So we can do this without screwing it up. Said without screwing it up, Alex. Don't do that. No, 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 no. Not moving about. Okay. Okay. Pretty good so far. And which way does it go in the fuselage? I've lost my thread on which way around it goes. This side forward. Okay. Look at that, it almost worked. So that's really nice, actually. The roof of the ceiling, I don't know what you call it, of that actually goes through the wing attachment point. So that is actually quite a solid attachment then. Actually very neat how it all goes from a very shaky kind of assembly to being all spot on. So the new piece I haven't done is attached this assembly on here yet, because I want the main structure of the aircraft to be set first, and then I'll glue these, because I left these with a bit of wiggle room, if you recall yesterday. And actually they have aligned pretty much perfectly with those points on the ceiling top of the bay here. Yeah, it's not bad for a quick job. If you really didn't have any way, I mean, you open that door, I guess you walk along this side? No, I mean, the bombs are in the way. So the front and the rear crew are completely cut off from each other, so it seems. That is interesting. Wow. That's how it comes together. It's pretty cool. Before I forget, still have to put this rear glazing in. Don't want to forget that. It would be bad. All right. I'm quite happy about that. Trying to be very careful with this seat because it is literally only attached by those little points at the bottom. The seat doesn't look quite as bright as that in reality. It's bright, but it's not quite that bright. So we do not have a lot of room to add weight, do we? Suppose it could go here. And this is going to be the rear bulkhead, right? Just there. Or the forward bulkhead, I should really say. Yeah, there we go. I still don't want to put that bulkhead in until I've drilled out those holes. I think that'll be one of the first things for Tuesday. So I need to metal all of the machine guns. Put the decal on the instrument panel and put the instrument console in the seat here. That actually went in really well. I'm quite pleased with that, the way that slotted in then. One thing I haven't seen for a while is that little lever. It's here somewhere. Okay. Not to worry. It'll turn up. Okay, that is all fine. That went okay in the end as well. So there are a couple of decals. Decal 4 and the main instrument panel that need to go on. D44. Side. Ah, dear. I think it's about this time of night. My brain is starting to slow down. So let's do simple things that don't require a lot of thought. Like putting these on. Get in there. Stay in there. Okay. That's those in. That didn't require too much thought. That's good. So transparencies have all actually been fine. The only one that has any issues is this one where I got a little bit of gunk, which is actually just, I think, away fine. Actually, I think we got away with that one, more or less. Yes, we did. Pretty much. Property match. The others are all super clear. Can't really ask much more than these have given. Quite pleased with the Bombay. That's come out okay. Oh dear me. Definitely getting to that time. Where pieces like this need to go in. Can put that on. We're down to that hardcore 16 number. That's a really interesting little self-contained unit, that. It just sits in. Sits in the back like that. Very nice. Okay. Well, guys, I think I'm done. I know it's a little bit 10 minutes before the witching hour, but I don't think I'm going to be able to produce anything more sensible than that now. I think I need to sleep and then come back with, you know, the weights and just some ability to put it all together, because my brain has stopped. So yeah, need to do the decals, pull all those last bits together so I can get the whole thing together, and then work on the engines and stuff that can flow fairly easily. Okay, guys, so that's where I'm going to call it tonight. Thank you so much for sticking with it. Those of you who have stayed here till the end. I know people have ducked in and out. I just want to thank you guys for being on. And hopefully I will see you both on FX and Chill tomorrow, and on the third part of this on Tuesday. I can't even think what day now. Brain really has stopped. So yeah, thanks again, guys, and see you soon. Bye.